Hey guys, Saf here coming at you with another Raid Shadow Legends video, and in today's video I want to talk about why I won't be using the clan boss auto complete feature that Plarium have announced that is coming to the game. Now this is going to be probably the only content creator, maybe even the only player in the world maybe thinking about this, but this is like my methodology, my thinking behind why I'm not that excited and, to be honest, not that enthused by this new change that is coming. There are some issues that some people have raised with me that I think deserves a shout out as well around the new system. That is going to affect probably quite a lot of players, not necessarily me because it doesn't really matter to my account. And there's also a couple of things I want to contextualize. So let's get into it. So what is the new feature that we're talking about? They are talking about an instant clan boss. So what that means is when you come into the clan boss here, there's going to be an option. I can't really run it now. I've used all my keys here. There's going to be an option where you click the button and then it basically was going to simulate the clan boss for you, I assume, and you're going to get a result back. Now, some people have been like, oh, well, how's it going to work? How's the technology? I don't really know exactly because I don't have any sort of like direct access. You know, I don't have a tester or anything else like that. I'm sure other creators at some point will have the ability to test it before it goes live. They always tend to throw new features in on a test server these days. That's what my understanding is anyway. But in terms of how I would imagine they're going to program it, they're probably just going to have some sort of remote simulation or a Unity engine built-in simulation that's going to basically run the battle engine as if you were watching it, but you just don't have to watch it. So what that basically means is it's not going to be the same every single time. It's not like you can put no gear on the champions and it's just going to give you the same damage you did last time. It's not like affinity isn't still going to be an issue. It's not like stun targeting is still not going to be an issue, right? Your team still needs to work. And there will be situations where if you low roll or you don't have enough accuracy, those things will also fail as well. You're just not going to see that it's going to fail. And that's the first problem I have with the system is you don't know what caused your team not to do damage. If you're not experienced, you can't see it happening. You can't visualize why it went wrong. So it's going to create a problem for players trying to understand why one key didn't do as much as the other key. And I can see already we're going to have in the Deadwood Jedi Discord, in the Hellhades Discord, and on live streams, people going, why did my instant battle not do so much damage? Is it broken? And it's like, well, it could be anything. It could be that the instant battle is broken. It could be that your resists happen too much. It could be stun targeting when array. It could be that you didn't use your AI properly. It could be any number of things that normally happens in clan boss. So all of the rules still exist. It's now you're just not going to be able to see them. So that's problem one for me. Problem two for me is it kind of takes away the enjoyment of one of the places of the game that I really enjoy. Now, the good thing is I can opt out of it. So this isn't like a major problem. But in terms of the grand scheme of where is time consumed in the game, instant clan bosses to me personally was not the number one highest priority. So, for example, for me, one of the highest priorities for fixing would be this Doom Tower bosses, right? I can beat every single boss in the game. Why do I have to watch my champions go through everything one after another, after another, after another? Like, you've got the system here for super raids because you've already acknowledged that, 15 or 16 keys on a single day is just way too many battles to have to watch run through. So super raids are great. Why can't I just use all my keys in one go and get one bounty reward? I basically have to run. If I do the advanced quest, I get 15 keys. If I do a secret room, normally I'll get me to 16. So at minimum, I need to do 8 battles. Well, 8 battles here on this time, which is obviously only floor 50 at the moment because it's not the highest one. That's going to take me 2.5 minutes times 8. That's about the same time as a clan boss run. So that's not saved me any time. Like, just allow me to do this once. It's not competitive. There's no aspects of this that is particularly important from a clan activity, from a sort of a tournament activity, an event activity. Doom Tower boss rewards are not tied to anything. They are just free rewards once you complete it. So just let me use 16 keys in one go and I'll get 16 amounts of rewards. That seems to be like one of the easiest things you can do. Similarly, in Faction Wars, we get like 15, 16 or 18 keys a day, which basically means what I have to do is I can run 2 stage 20s every single day because I can use super raids. And then I have to come out, I have to go up to stage 9, I have to uncheck the super raids, and then I have to run 1 stage 9 because it's the best stage for the highest amount of keys I have available. I could just choose to skip those 2 keys, that's fine, but it feels bad that I can't use my resources. So why don't we, instead of getting the advanced quest that gives us 6 more keys, give us 8 more keys? So that way I can just run 3 stage 20s, So you give us more rewards because, to be honest, you've added a quest in the mission line that most people, even my free-to-play, is going to get stuck on, which is you're going to need a lot of rank 5's glyphs, right? So it doesn't really matter if you give me more glyphs. That's not really a problem anymore. You've already given people tons of stats from artifact ascension, accessory extension, empowerment, faction guardians. A +8 speed glyph is not going to be like earth-shatteringly different. Half the time it rolls +3 anyway. So just give me another stage 20. And again, make it only once. I have to still beat it. I have to watch it beat it, but I only have to do it once every day. That will save me probably another 5 minutes of my day, maybe even 15 minutes of my day if I've got a slow stage 20 team. Obviously, my teams are much more accelerated than the average player. Faction Wars is not competitive. It's not tied to any tournament rewards, event rewards, or anything else. It is a time saving that could just literally be implemented with the existing super raid system. So those two for me are the most immediate things you could improve that actually don't take away from the gameplay experience, that just instantly would probably save me about 20 minutes of my day on each account, because I just don't have to watch these bosses go through. It's got to the extent now where often I will just not do my silver keys if I've got some really rubbish side quests. Like, it often is coming around to tag team, which is my third point that I'm going to talk about in a moment, but I often will just skip them because the rewards for some of these bosses, like Griffin, I've got so many feathers for Griffin that I haven't created in the Forge. I just cannot be bothered to run the keys. It takes too much time. It's just not enjoyable to watch the battle. It doesn't really matter what I do on that boss. It's not relevant to me. Whereas when it comes to clan boss, I actually like watching the champions try to hit really hard in different rotations. I like to see the team work. It's a lot more different. The speed tune is more relevant. There's a lot of different things for me personally, and this is a personal opinion, that I enjoy watching with the clan boss. And I also enjoy Manual and Hydra, right? So there's things about the clan bosses that I actually enjoy that other people don't. The third point I want to make is areas in the game that you refuse to rebalance are actually a bigger problem. So I've been doing some tag team today, and I was talking about it on Discord with my community around doing tag team here. And it's just the amount of time it takes to actually do tag team. It's not about the difficulty. You can see I can beat all these teams. Just look at how long it's taking me to beat these teams. So this one, we had a 1 minute 42 hour ago. It took me another 8 minutes to beat the third team here. It's taken me 4 minutes here. It's taken me 11 minutes there. So you see what I mean? Like, these teams where they have like Mortu Macabres with Ultimate Death Knights, you're just adding 2 to 3 minutes onto every single battle for no like enjoyment. There's no like fun about it. I mean, I could do a whole video on this topic, but the principal point I'm trying to make is not that it's easy and I can beat these. It's the fact that I can beat them, but it takes me so much extra time. And when I'm in that battle, it's not enjoyable, right? When we're fighting, where is this one team here that was absolutely like awful? This team here, Duchess, Pythian, Ultimate Death Knight, Mortu Macabre. It's not that I can't beat it. It's that I know that the Mortu Macabre and the Ultimate Death Knight is probably on like really slow speeds in Stone Skin. They've got a double reviver. They've probably got a bolster set. Maybe even the Duchess is in Stone Skin. You've got a 2 minute wait for that Stone Skin to fall off. You can't really run in there with any sort of standard attack-based nuker, right? If you try to run in there with Foley, or you're trying to run in there with sort of any other average attack, even someone like an Ethos, it isn't going to work because you can't keep them alive. Unless you've got a Rotus or a Leorius or someone like Jorgid that can carve through the Stone Skin, you're not going to keep them alive, which means you're just going to lose because they're going to have double revive, right? Some people said, well, why don't you just like try to blast it with the Romantu and hope for the best with that Polymorph? It's like, well, Polymorph, one, is very strong. It's probably going to happen. And secondly, if I tickle this Mortu Macabre and he kills my Constantine in the team, then I can't actually win the fight because I've lost my main win condition, right? So what you have to do is you sit there with an equally slow team and you just wait the fight out and you just keep going and you wait it out. And then eventually when the Stone Skin falls off and the Bolster Skins falls off, you can pick them off one by one. It's not fun. Nothing I do in that 2 minute window is strategically relevant. I can't buff strip because Polymorph. I can't engage with the game mode because various different things. So in terms of what I'm doing in that 2 minutes, it's stale. It's boring. There's no engagement. There's no strategic diversity. I can't actually build a team that actually can engage with that 2 minute window. It is literally a wait timer. So in terms of like the priorities, making Clan Boss instant versus fixing those issues, that makes that, like, I wouldn't have a problem with Arena if that 5 minute window was a result of strategic decision making. It's not. It's 5 minutes of waiting, then I kill them. That's not fun. That's really bad. So, you know, Arena for me is like a big time drop. So you have to do 5 of these tag team a day for you to get your Faction Wars keys. You know, that whole thing of you should do PvP for the sake of being the best when everything actually ends up being tied to PvE rewards. How that balances, I don't really understand. Let's face it, if you do Classic Arena for gold medals to improve your affinity bonuses, which is primarily for non-arena, you do Live Arena for area bonuses that has no benefits for PvP. You do Tag Team Arena for Faction Wars keys that gives you glyphs that you use for, quote, mostly PvE stuff. Okay, you can use it for PvP, I'm not denying that, but to be honest with that, it's like Hydra rewards you sets that are beneficial for PvP. It's like, well, why doesn't Stone Skin exist in arena rewards? And I don't know. We don't know these things. Even like these arena chests, you know, I'm going to collect one of these chests now. They're not rewarding me things that are going to help me in arena. They're rewarding me things like this is going to help me more in PvE, because to be honest, speed is not relevant in that much in arena. More in live arena, I would say, because obviously you get, you know, if you can go first, you can control the fight, whatnot. I do like these chests in terms of rewards. I do feel like this chest here should be basically every single week. This is what the gold 5 reward chest should look like, not what it does at the moment, which is really poor where I sell pretty much everything. But yeah, so that's the third point. Arena is slow. I'd much rather development time be focused on trying to make arena more engaging and more relevant and faster, and actually have more strategic decision making, rather than a clan boss that's now just going to instant complete. And the final point I want to make is, well, there's 2 points I want to make. The first point is, I don't trust that this is going to get released without issues. So far, when we look at the quality of life things we've had recently from Plarium, the first one was the Doom Tower auto climb. It works really well now, but when it first came out, it completely broke sort of auto battling. Everything broke. It wouldn't climb properly. It was just a nightmare for about a week. Then we had the new auto cell filters, which to this day I still do not use because I just don't understand how you're meant to configure them properly. They're very complicated and they didn't work. It was disabled for like 2 weeks. So the chances are when they release this clan boss thing, it's probably going to be broken on release. So I'm not going to trust it to actually give me, you know, this place is where I get all of my valuable rewards. Clan boss rewards are the best rewards in the game, except for Doom Tower. I'm not going to trust an automated system to not give me what I need here. So I'm not going to trust it. I'd rather sit there for 20 minutes to guarantee that I get the good rewards than depend upon a system that, let's be honest, 9 times out of 10 is probably going to be broken for the first 2 weeks. It probably will work eventually, but it's probably going to be broken. And lastly, the final point I want to make was raised by someone who dropped me a direct message, Tony Terrier. So thanks for letting me know this issue, really, and highlighting it to me. It's not really an issue for me personally because I can do every affinity, right? You can see my current sort of top clan boss here is 165 million. It's the team that I showcased, I think, on Friday last week, and using the Roxam. That was a bit of a community challenge fun. I can pretty much do any affinity, 1 key, not a problem. So if it changes to Force or Void or Spirit or Magic, whatever, I don't really care. But for quite a lot of the community, a large proportion of the community, they depend on being able to get their first 2 keys on Void in order to 3 key, because maybe they haven't got a champion that can manage the speed buff on Spirit. Maybe they haven't got a champion that can take the stuns on a different affinity. Maybe they've got a primary damage dealer that is weak on 1 affinity, and without that, they kind of fall down into a 4 key. Well, this new game mode is going to be very hard. You know, the way that they're structuring this, it's going to go from void to non-void like very quickly. If people are on the ball and they're right there as soon as the reset happens, they're going to hit their key, they're going to get it instantly. The clan boss is going to drop very quickly in a very competitive clan, or it's going to drop to like half in a sort of a late game clan very quickly. So it's going to make hitting void like incredibly hard. And I think it's going to cause problems for clans to actually manage that, because how do you really manage it? You know, do you structure it in a way that people who can hit other affinities are now no longer allowed to use that instant battle, or they have to wait for a certain amount of time so that the people in the clan who need the void keys can actually submit it? What happens if those other people are like also in the thing? What happens if your whole clan is like that? Well, if everyone's going to hit void all at the same time, then if 2 people miss out because they can't get online, then they're now going to feel like they can't get their rewards, right? So you see my point, where it's going to be very difficult for clans to manage this new system so that everyone gets a fair shout if you depend upon that void affinity. So those are just some of my thoughts about the new system. I feel like I'm being probably overly negative just because I feel like you're breaking the one groundbreaking philosophy, which I actually agreed with more than anything else, which was you're not going to auto-complete battles. you pretty much set, like 6 to 12 months ago, there was pretty much a red line in sort of the design philosophy that this game would not move to the other type of mobile games where you basically pressed a button, you kept pressing the button, you got bonus rewards, right? I mean, you've broken that for Clan Boss, which in my opinion is one of the best areas of the game still. I know a lot of people will say, well, I've done Bat Eater, why do I want to watch it over and over and over again? I get that, but at the same time, I do think, like, of all the bigger things they could have resolved, there are more larger issues that could have saved us time that aren't being dealt with, and they're going to kind of stopgap it with this, oh, well, you can do Clan Boss instantly now. And it's like, well, okay, so I've saved myself some time. I mean, I can one key Clan Boss on 2 difficulties within 15 minutes, give or take. I know that's a very endgame team. Most people probably would take somewhere between 30 to 45 minutes. That's my understanding, which I was quite surprised by, I'll be honest. I kind of held my hand up. I was like, I initially thought that was a bit extreme, but actually when people have showed me, I kind of get it. So yeah, you're going to save yourself 30 minutes to 45 minutes. That's fine. I guess that's okay. And I suppose for those players who don't have an awful lot of time, mobile players, perhaps it's a good time saving. I just think, really, if we were looking at it, it's things like the Doom Tower bosses, the Faction Wars bosses, the arena meta being so stale and slow, you know, and being forced to do these game modes in order to get the rewards that we want for the actual game modes we care about, things like Doom Tower progression, things like, you know, Hydra Boss maybe, and different things like that. It just feels poor to me. So I won't be using this new Clan Boss system. I will continue to watch it and play with it. And to be honest, I think for the general population, the change is probably good. But for me personally, I won't be using it. And I'm glad that there is an opt-out system for it. I'm glad I can still watch my champion smash the Clan Boss for 400,000 damage and do crazy numbers. That to me just seems more fun. That's why I play the game. If I didn't have that mode, I would seriously question whether I continue to enjoy the game. It's that kind of importance for me personally. So let me know in the comments below, guys, what you think about sort of this new change to the Clan Boss. I personally, you know, I've given my personal thoughts here. I hope that the other ideas that I've mentioned in this video kind of get listened to and get implemented, because I feel like if you just expand super raids, that's a really good time saving for areas that are non-competitive. I don't think we should have super raids done like ×3 or ×4 for dungeons, because that's just stupid. But certainly for things that are not like tied to a tournament or events, Doom Tower bosses, Faction Wars, why do we have to watch something we've done over and over and over again? It just seems dull to me. At least with Clan Boss, it's a one-time thing a day and it does have variability, whereas the boss doesn't. So let me know in the comments below what you think. I will be streaming tonight on YouTube, on this channel, around about 8 p.m. We'll probably be looking at some prep work ahead of CBC. If we can still do a little bit of the summoning for the Path of Vengeance, we might use that up, and we'll be probably prepping some different things. Might do some various different things. Maybe there's new events on at the same time. So yeah, come hang out on stream. That'll be around about 8 p.m. UK time, and it will be on this channel. But I will catch you guys in the next video.